Okay, let's dive in. Words aren't just labels for things. They're incredible tools. They
Absolutely.
let us share not just what we see, but how it feels, the nuances of experience. Sometimes finding just the right word feels like discovering, I don't know, a secret handshake with understanding.
Yeah, like it just clicks.
It clicks into place, and suddenly what you're trying to describe gains a whole new dimension.
It's like adding color and texture to a sketch, isn't it? A precise word isn't just accurate, it's evocative.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just name something, it helps you feel it or, understand its specific impact. That's the power we're exploring today.
Exactly. So we're taking a linguistic deep dive into 9 specific English words. We're not just rattling off definitions here.
No, definitely not.
We're looking at what makes these words work, the subtle power they hold, and importantly, how you can use them to make your own communication more vivid and precise.
Think of us as guides, maybe, helping you unlock the specific energy and meaning within each one.
Yeah, guides sounds good.
Our goal is really to move beyond the basic dictionary entry and explore the heart of these words. Their core meaning, sure, but also all those layers of implication they carry.
Right.
We want you to feel equipped to use these words effectively, whether you're describing, say, a moment, a place, a person, or even a process.
And we've got a fascinating mix today. We'll look at words for breathtaking beauty, vibrant growth, challenging journeys,
Significant changes, being one of a kind.
untouched natural places, the art of relaxation. What else?
Bursting with energy and just moving without a plan. Aimless movement.
It's a diverse collection for sure, but each one offers a really unique lens on the world.
So get ready to look closely. We'll explore what makes each word special and see them in action through key examples, trying to figure out why these words are chosen in those specific moments.
All right, let's start with a word for something that just, well, hits you with its impressiveness.
Ah, okay. That word is stunning.
Stunning. Okay. It's an adjective, and its basic meaning is extremely impressive or attractive. Seems simple enough, right?
Yeah. It does, but that doesn't really capture the punch of the word, does it?
No, it feels stronger than that.
It really is stronger.
Yeah.
The power of stunning comes from its implied meaning. It goes way beyond mere attractiveness or impressiveness.
How so?
Well, it suggests something that is so striking, so beautiful, or so remarkable that it's almost overwhelming.
Overwhelming,
It
yeah.
literally can suggest it stops you in your tracks, takes your breath away, causing an immediate, strong, positive reaction because it just exceeds all expectations.
It definitely has impact. It's not just pleasant, it's impactful beauty or, impressive skill. Let's look at a few examples to really see this impact. How about this one? The view from the mountaintop was absolutely stunning.
Okay, good example. When we say a view is stunning, we mean more than just that it's pretty, right?
Right.
It's likely vast, dramatic, maybe unexpected. The sheer scale or the beauty of it is so great that it evokes, well, awe.
Ah, that's a good word for it.
You might gasp, feel small against the landscape, or
Yeah.
just stand there in silent appreciation because it's so overwhelmingly impressive. And that absolutely just confirms that this impact is complete, total.
It really demands your full attention. Okay, so how about when we apply it to a person? She looked stunning in her red evening gown.
Here, stunning describes personal appearance. But again, it's not just saying she looks good.
No.
It means she is exceptionally attractive
Yeah.
and makes a powerful impression. The whole picture, the person, the gown, creates a look that is incredibly eye-catching and memorable. It makes heads turn because she looks so impressively beautiful.
So elevates beautiful to something more potent, more impactful. What about skill? Like this, he showed a stunning display of skill during the competition.
This is where stunning moves beyond just visual beauty to describe exceptional ability. A stunning display of skill means the performance was so precise, maybe so brilliant, or perhaps so unexpectedly masterful that it left observers amazed.
Yep.
Exactly. It wasn't just skilled. It was executed at a level that was almost breathtaking to watch.
Like high art, but in skill form. Okay, or how about something less tangible? She received a stunning offer for the job.
Right. This uses stunning to describe something abstract and offer.
Yeah.
It means the proposal was incredibly impressive, probably because it was, unexpectedly generous or highly desirable.
Way beyond what was expected.
Yeah, it's an offer that likely caused real surprise and delight because it exceeded expectations so significantly.
A pleasant shock in the professional world, then. We also see stunning applied to, well, lots of things: design, creative works, architecture, Natural phenomena like the aurora borealis.
Objects like jewelry, performances, voices.
Right. Even things like the clarity of water or the simplicity of a design can be stunning.
Across all these uses, the key thing seems to be that the thing described isn't just good or beautiful or impressive. It possesses a quality that is so exceptional, it creates a strong, impactful, often awe-filled reaction in the observer.
Yeah, that feeling of being stopped in your tracks.
I think the core takeaway for stunning is really its focus on impact. It's the word you reach for when something doesn't just meet expectations of beauty or skill, but kind of shatters them, leaving you genuinely impressed.
Shatters them. I like that. It's about the effect on you. Okay, so from things that make a powerful impression, let's shift gears. Let's talk about describing things that are actively doing well, growing, flourishing.
And that word is thriving.
Thriving. That feels very positive, very full of life. It's an adjective, like stunning. What's the essential meaning here?
At its core, thriving means being prosperous and growing, flourishing. It's fundamentally about vitality and success.
So it's definitely not just existing or surviving.
No.
It's actively doing well, expanding, succeeding robustly. What does thriving imply then beyond that core?
It strongly implies a state of continuous, strong development, success, and robust health. It often suggests resilience to flourishing even when there might be challenges. In a state of being full of life and energy. Think of a garden just bursting with growth, or a business that's not just making money, but expanding and full of positive energy.
It's dynamic success. Got it. Let's look at some examples. How about this one? The new business is thriving in the local market.
Okay, so when a business is thriving, it means it's experiencing strong growth and prosperity. It's successfully attracting customers, likely increasing its revenue, maybe even hiring more people.
It's got real momentum.
Exactly. It's not just surviving, it's actively winning in its environment.
Okay. How about applying it to nature? Like, the community garden is truly thriving this summer, producing lots of vegetables.
Here, thriving describes the garden's state. It means the plants are growing vigorously, they're healthy, and they're yielding an abundant harvest.
You can literally see the success.
Yes, it highlights the garden's vitality and fruitfulness, showing that the conditions or the care are allowing it to flourish luxuriantly, and truly just emphasizes how successfully it's doing.
It emphasizes the abundance. This next one shows that resilience you mentioned. Despite the economic downturn, the tech industry is still thriving.
Yeah, this example uses thriving perfectly to show success, even in difficult circumstances. The tech industry isn't just weathering the storm, it's continuing to grow and prosper despite a challenging economy elsewhere.
So what does that suggest about the industry?
Well, it suggests the industry is maybe highly adaptable, innovative, or perhaps providing essential services that maintain demand even when money is tight elsewhere.
Success against the odds. And it can describe a person's well-being too, can't it? Her mental health is thriving since she adopted a new routine.
Definitely. This shows thriving isn't limited to the physical or the economic. It can apply to a state of well-being.
Internal flourishing.
Exactly. When mental health is thriving, it means it's not just stable, but actively improving and becoming stronger. Her new routine has clearly led to significant positive growth in her emotional and psychological state.
That's a great application. So thriving can also describe a place, an economy, a community, a career, or even like a market for a specific product.
Yeah, lots of context.
And in all these contexts, the word seems to convey a sense of active growth, strong health, success, and vitality. It's the word you use when something is full of life and energy and just doing really, really well.
I think the key takeaway for thriving is active, vital success. It describes growth that is dynamic, robust, and full of life, often suggesting resilience and that important forward momentum.
Right, that energy. Okay, so from the energy of growth, let's think about moving from one place to another, especially when it takes significant effort.
Ah, okay. And the word for that is trek.
Trek. Now, this one's versatile. It can be a noun or a verb. Let's start with trek as a noun.
Okay. As a noun, a trek is defined as a long, arduous journey, typically on foot.
That arduous part seems critical, doesn't it?
It really is.
So what does a trek imply?
It strongly implies a challenging and often slow journey, usually over difficult terrain or perhaps through remote areas. It suggests a significant amount of physical effort, endurance, and often navigating challenging conditions.
So it's not just a walk in the park.
Definitely not. It's not a casual stroll. It's a real undertaking. It demands effort and resilience.
Let's look at some examples. The climbers prepared for a difficult trek up the snowy mountain.
That's a classic example, isn't it? A
Yep.
trek up a snowy mountain immediately signals difficulty. You've got the terrain, the altitude, the weather conditions, all making it physically demanding.
Sure.
The word trek tells you this is a serious climb requiring proper preparation and stamina.
It's a physical challenge.
Yep.
How about a journey through a specific environment? Like this. Our week-long trek through the jungle was an unforgettable adventure.
Okay, here, the duration, week-long, and the environment, the jungle, both contribute to the idea of a demanding journey.
Right, jungles aren't easy.
No. They're often dense, humid, difficult to navigate, requiring significant effort over an extended period. Calling it an adventure acknowledges the challenge while framing it as an exciting, maybe even positive experience in hindsight.
The difficulty becomes part of the story, part of the adventure. Trek can also describe journeys of necessity, can it? Like the long and dangerous trek to safety that refugees might make.
Yes, that highlights the immense hardship and peril involved. It's a very serious use of the word.
Or it can be a charity event, like organizing a charity trek across the desert, framing the physical effort for a good cause.
We even see metaphorical uses, things like a personal trek of self-discovery or a slow and steady trek back to full health.
Ah, interesting. So how does trek work there?
Well, in those cases, trek lends weight to the process. It suggests it was a long, challenging, and perhaps indirect journey, even if it wasn't about covering physical miles. It emphasizes the endurance required.
That shows how the core idea of a difficult, lengthy process transfers really well. The Everest Base Camp trek is another famous example people aspire to complete again, highlighting the significant effort and achievement involved.
And the altitude difficulty there is immense.
True, or even in tech. The data migration was a massive trek for the IT team.
Right. That shows a complex technical task described using the language of a difficult physical journey. It conveys the scale and challenge effectively.
So as a noun, trek is the journey itself, and it's defined by its difficulty, length, and the endurance it requires, whether that's climbing a mountain, crossing a desert, or navigating a complex project.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the noun. How about trek as a verb? To trek.
As a verb, to trek means to travel or migrate, especially slowly or with difficulty. It's the act of undertaking that long, demanding journey.
So it's performing the challenging movement itself. Let's look at the verb in action. We decided to trek across the desert to reach the oasis.
This describes the active decision and the physical effort of making that journey across the desert. They aren't just walking. They are trekking, actively undertaking the difficult movement through that harsh environment to reach their specific goal.
It's the physical verb of enduring the journey? Or how about this? They had to trek for miles through the snow to get supplies.
This emphasizes the action had to trek and the obstacles for miles through the snow. It clearly conveys the necessity of making a difficult, long walk through challenging conditions to achieve something essential.
The conditions are what make it a trek. We also hear about people who, love to trek through remote wilderness.
Right, they actively enjoy the act of making these difficult journeys. It's a choice.
Or animals trekking across vast plains during migration, describing their necessary, often arduous seasonal movement.
Yeah, that fits perfectly. You might trek uphill to a cabin, emphasizing the challenging incline, or trek deep into a park for solitude, highlighting the distance and effort required to escape civilization.
It really captures the effort involved.
It does. And interestingly, the verb can sometimes describe mental movement, like letting your thoughts wander back to memories. But wander is probably more common for that kind of aimless mental movement. Trek usually retains that sense of effort.
Good distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah, trek as a verb really nails the act of moving with effort, especially over distance or through difficulty.
So the key takeaway for trek, whether it's the noun or the verb, is demanding journey. It consistently highlights the effort, the endurance, and the challenge involved in reaching a destination, which could be physical or sometimes metaphorical.
Okay, got it. From the effort of journeys, let's move to the process of experiencing something significant, particularly changes or challenges.
And the word for that is undergo.
Undergo. It often sounds like something happens to you, not necessarily something you choose. It's a verb. What's its core meaning?
To undergo means to experience or be subjected to something, typically something unpleasant or arduous.
Right, so you are on the receiving end of an experience or a process. What does undergo imply then?
It strongly implies a process of change, transformation, or perhaps enduring a particular condition. It suggests experiencing something significant, like a treatment, a change, a challenge, often with a sense of being subjected to it or passing through a phase.
Like you're passing through it.
Yeah, rather than actively initiating it yourself. Although sometimes you can choose to undergo something, which is an interesting nuance.
Okay, it's about going through a process. Let's look at some examples. The building will undergo major renovations next year.
Okay, the building is the subject here, and it will experience the process of being renovated. It doesn't actively renovate itself. It is subjected to these changes. And major renovations signals a significant transformation it will pass through.
The building endures the changes. How about in a medical context? She had to undergo a series of tests to determine the cause of her illness.
This really highlights that being subjected to aspect. She experienced the process of receiving medical tests. She didn't perform them. She went through the experience of having them done to her.
She went through the battery of tests. Okay. Or he will undergo surgery to repair his knee.
Another clear medical example where someone is subjected to a procedure. He will experience the process of having an operation. And surgery is typically arduous, which fits the core meaning suggestion of something unpleasant or difficult.
He's submitting to the process of the operation. We also see it for organizational change. The company is planning to undergo a complete restructuring. The company will experience the process of being reorganized entirely.
Or systemic change. The country decided to undergo significant political reforms. The nation will experience the implementation of major governmental changes.
Right, but you mentioned that nuance about choosing to undergo something.
Yes, that's important. While it often describes things that are unpleasant or imposed, you can choose to undergo something difficult. For instance, she chose to undergo a challenging training program.
Oh, okay.
She actively decided to subject herself to a difficult regimen, which implies commitment to the process of change or development that it would bring about.
That subtle difference is key. It can be imposed or it can be chosen. But in both cases, it's definitely a process you pass through. We see it applied to manuscripts undergoing revisions,
Materials undergoing temperature changes during experiments.
land undergoing transformation into a national park, or systems undergoing an upgrade.
Even abstract experiences fit, like undergoing a difficult period of adjustment, or, on the positive side, undergoing a full recovery.
True, recovery is positive, but it's still a process you go through.
Exactly. In all these instances, undergo signals that the subject is experiencing or being subjected to a process of change, transformation, or treatment.
So the key takeaway for undergo is experiencing a process. It's the word for going through a significant change, treatment, or challenge, highlighting that you are, in a sense, on the receiving end of that experience, even if you chose it.
Nicely put. Okay, from experiencing change, let's talk about things that are truly one of a kind, unlike anything else out there.
That immediately brings to mind unique.
Unique. Good one. An adjective. Its core meaning is pretty clear, I think. Being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else.
So it's about absolute singularity. What does unique imply beyond that?
It strongly emphasizes individuality and distinctiveness. It highlights something that is singular, exceptional, and that stands apart from all others. There really aren't any direct comparisons possible because there's nothing else exactly like it.
It's about being truly original, maybe incomparable. Let's look at some examples. The artist's style is truly unique. You won't find anything else like it.
That's a perfect illustration, isn't it? When an artist's style is unique, it means their way of creating art is genuinely singular and has no parallel. And the second part of the sentence, you won't find anything else like it, simply reinforces that lack of comparison that is inherent in the word unique itself.
It's their inimitable artistic signature. How about a personal ability? She has a unique ability to connect with animals.
This describes a talent that is singular and distinct. Her specific capacity to relate to creatures is somehow unparalleled, in a way that others might not possess. It's special to her.
It's a gift that sets her apart. This next one gives a very concrete example. Each person has a unique fingerprint.
Ah, yes, the classic scientific use of unique. It's a biological fact that for every single individual, the pattern on their finger is singular and distinct. It's a literal example of something being one of a kind for each person.
A biological stamp of individuality. We also use unique for objects, like an ancient artifact that is unique and cannot be replicated, emphasizing its irreplaceable singularity.
Or for a viewpoint. Her perspective on the issue is quite unique, meaning her way of looking at something is notably distinct from how others see it.
It can describe experiences too, right? Like a unique dining experience.
Yes, something about the meal or the setting or the service makes it unparalleled. You won't find that exact combination anywhere else.
Or geographical distribution. The species of flower is unique to this island, meaning it exists absolutely nowhere else in the world.
Or even personality traits. He has a unique sense of humor that always makes me laugh. His comedic style is distinctively his own. Unique can also apply to opportunities, solutions to problems, historical insights, or even physical qualities like a painting's texture.
Lots of applications.
The key takeaway for unique is really one of a kind. It's the word you use when something possesses a quality or identity that genuinely sets it apart, with no direct equivalent anywhere else. It's truly singular.
Got it. Speaking of things that stand apart, let's explore environments that are untouched by human influence, places that retain their original state.
Okay, that brings us nicely to unspoiled.
Unspoiled. Yeah, that word paints pictures of pristine nature, doesn't it? It's an adjective. What's the core definition?
Unspoiled describes a place that has not been damaged or changed by human activity. Pristine.
So it's about being in a pure, natural state, free from human interference or significant development. It hasn't been spoiled by our impact.
Exactly. It retains its natural integrity.
What does unspoiled imply, then?
It strongly conveys a sense of natural beauty, untouched purity, and often a feeling of being remote or maybe difficult to access, which has helped preserve it in that state.
Ah, the remoteness helps.
It often does. It refers to environments or experiences that remain pure, natural, and free from the alterations, the buildings, the pollution, the noise that human presence so often brings.
It's about natural purity and the lack of human impact. Let's look at some examples. The remote island is famous for its unspoiled beaches.
Okay, a remote location often implies less human traffic and development, right?
Yeah.
So unspoiled beaches are pristine, clean, and in their natural state without lots of buildings, litter, or excessive tourist infrastructure, largely because they are distant and less accessible.
Distance can be a form of protection, or how about we found a truly unspoiled hiking trail far from the crowds?
This links unspoiled directly to the absence of human traffic. A trail far from crowds is less likely to be heavily worn down, littered, or intensively managed. It retains a more natural, untouched feel. The truly emphasizes just how pristine it is. Less human presence equals a more natural state. Unspoiled can also describe a place that resists modernization. The village has remained remarkably unspoiled by modern development. It's kept its original character despite potential pressure to change.
Or an entire large ecosystem. The rainforest is an example of an unspoiled ecosystem. A vast, intact rainforest is a prime example of nature operating in a state largely free from human alteration, teeming with natural biodiversity.
We see it applied to specific features too, like a lake whose clear waters reflect its unspoiled condition, where the purity of the water indicates the lack of human pollution.
Right. People might choose a resort specifically for its unspoiled natural beauty, seeking out that pristine environment for relaxation or enjoyment.
Or conservation efforts aiming to keep areas like national parks unspoiled, or to preserve unspoiled habitats for wildlife, highlighting the deliberate action taken to maintain natural purity.
Even taste can be unspoiled, like pure spring water having an unspoiled taste.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned an interesting, less common use in the material. The unspoiled child was a joy to be around.
Ah, yes, that was different.
It refers to a child not negatively affected by, say, bad upbringing or excessive pampering, not spoiled in the modern sense. It's an older sense, meaning retaining a natural, pleasant character free from negative influence.
That shows a different facet of unspoiled, linking purity to character, not just environment. But primarily, the word describes places and natural features that are pure, untouched, and free from human damage or alteration.
Yes, I think the key takeaway for unspoiled is natural purity. It's the word for places or things that have been preserved from significant human interference, retaining their original pristine state.
Okay. After thinking about pristine places, let's shift to the opposite, the act of releasing tension and finding a state of peace and calm.
A welcome shift. That word is unwind.
Unwind. That sounds like exactly what many of us need at the end of a long day. It's a verb. What's the core meaning here?
To unwind means to relax after a period of work or tension.
Simple and very relatable. What does unwind imply?
It strongly implies a process of letting go of accumulated stress, tension, or maybe rigidity. It suggests becoming more relaxed, often by doing something enjoyable that allows you to de-stress, like physically or mentally untangling something that's been tightly wound up.
Releasing that coil of stress. I like that image. Let's look at some examples. After a long day at work, I like to unwind by listening to music.
A very common scenario. Listening to music is an activity that helps transition from the stress and demands of work to a state of relaxation. It's a conscious effort to shed that tension.
A simple way to decompress. Or she needs to unwind after dealing with that difficult client.
This points to a specific source of tension, doesn't it? A difficult interaction has created stress, and she needs to engage in some kind of relaxation activity to recover from that specific experience.
Stress from a specific event requires deliberate unwinding. We see lots of common ways to unwind mentioned, like taking a warm bath,
Having a quiet dinner at home.
playing video games, or spending time in nature. Each one is an activity chosen specifically to facilitate that release of tension.
It's about finding your personal method to de-stress, isn't it?
Definitely. And the timing can be important too. You should try to unwind before going to sleep. Releasing tension before bed helps prepare the mind and body for rest. Makes sense.
We also see activities used therapeutically, like using painting as a way to unwind, where the creative process itself aids in relaxation.
Or emphasizing the mental aspect. Unwinding and clearing your mind regularly is important. This highlights that de-stressing is crucial for mental well-being, not just some kind of luxury.
Absolutely. And disconnecting from digital life is a way many people truly unwind these days. Actively turning off phones and ignoring emails is a deliberate step to create space for relaxation.
That truly feels important there.
It does. Activities like yoga can help unwind, both physically and mentally, addressing tension in the body and the mind simultaneously.
Even simple social interaction can be unwinding. Let's unwind and just chat for a while. The lack of pressure or agenda in casual conversation can help release tension.
For sure. Ultimately, describing a place as somewhere you can truly unwind and forget your worries indicates its atmosphere or purpose is specifically dedicated to facilitating deep relaxation and escape.
So the key takeaway for unwind is releasing tension. It's the verb for actively letting go of stress and becoming relaxed, often through a chosen activity or in a specific environment.
Exactly. Okay, from letting go of tension, let's talk about things that are bursting with life, energy, and enthusiasm.
That sounds very much like vibrant.
Vibrant, yes, a lively word. It's an adjective. What's the core definition?
Vibrant means full of energy and enthusiasm, pulsating with life or activity.
Pulsing.
Yeah.
So it's about being dynamic, lively, full of energy. What does vibrant imply? It strongly implies brightness, liveliness, dynamism, and often a sense of excitement or positivity. It suggests something full of color, energy, activity, or spirit that makes it feel very much alive and engaging.
It feels energetic and full of life. Let's look at examples. The city's art scene is incredibly vibrant.
Okay, a vibrant art scene is definitely not stagnant. It's full of activity, new artists popping up, galleries opening, shows, events, lots of enthusiastic people engaged in creativity. It's a dynamic and energetic cultural environment.
It's alive with creativity. Vibrant is often used to describe color directly, isn't it? She wore a dress with vibrant colors that caught everyone's eye.
Yes, that's very common. Vibrant colors are intense, bright, and full of energy. They're striking and draw attention, contributing to the overall lively and energetic feel of the dress. Colors that have energy. We also use it for places full of activity. The market was a vibrant hub of activity, full of sounds and smells. A vibrant market is bustling, noisy, full of sensory experiences, and teeming with people and commerce, a really dynamic center.
And for people's energy, he has a vibrant personality that lights up any room.
Yeah, a vibrant personality is full of energy, maybe charisma and enthusiasm, making the atmosphere around them feel more lively and positive. They bring energy.
We see it in creative work, like vibrant brushstrokes in a painting, an energetic application of paint that adds dynamism.
Or in community. The neighborhood has a truly vibrant community spirit where people are actively engaged and enthusiastic together. There's a buzz.
It can describe abstract qualities too, right? Like she has a vibrant imagination that leads to amazing stories.
Exactly. A vibrant imagination is fertile, lively, and full of creative energy and ideas. Or interest. He has a vibrant interest in world history, meaning a strong, energetic enthusiasm for the subject.
We see it in ecosystems, like a vibrant coral reef teeming with marine life, full of color, energy, and activity.
Or in music, like vibrant and energetic songs. Even in economics, the local economy is vibrant and growing, showing a financial system that is lively, active, and expanding. It connects back to thriving a bit there.
Good point. It captures energy in so many forms. The vibrant energy of the crowd was infectious, describing collective enthusiasm spreading.
Or describing a collection of textiles as Vibrant, referring to their lively colors or patterns.
So the key takeaway for vibrant seems to be pulsating energy. It's the word you use to describe something full of life, dynamism, brightness, and activity, whether it's a place, a person, a color, or an idea.
Pulsating energy. I like that summary.
Okay, finally, let's wrap up with our ninth word. This one is for moving without a specific destination, just sort of exploring or drifting.
And that word is wander.
Wander. It sounds much less intense than trek, that's for sure. It's a verb. What's the core definition?
To wander means to walk or move in a leisurely or aimless way.
So, kind of the opposite of a purposeful journey, like a trek. What does wander imply?
It strongly implies relaxed, often exploratory movement without a fixed destination or a clear plan. It suggests a casual stroll or roam, often done for pleasure, exploration, or simply enjoying the surroundings.
Leisurely and aimless.
And crucially, it also applies to thoughts or attention drifting aimlessly, not just physical movement.
Right, the mental drifting too. Let's look at examples of physical wandering first. We decided to wander through the old town's narrow streets.
This describes moving aimlessly through the streets, not heading to a specific place, but just exploring the area leisurely. The goal is the experience of the movement and discovery itself, not reaching a particular destination.
It's about the journey of exploration. Or he likes to wander in the woods, taking photos of nature.
This combines aimless movement in a natural setting with an activity. He isn't trying to get to a specific point in the woods, he's strolling freely, letting his movement coincide naturally with his photography. Aimless physical movement paired with observation. We also see the purpose being discovery. Let's just wander and see what interesting shops we find, where the lack of a plan allows for those serendipitous discoveries. Or animals wandering freely across the hills, indicating undirected roaming without restriction.
Okay, now for the mental aspect. My mind tends to wander when I'm tired.
This uses wander metaphorically for thoughts, doesn't it? When your mind wanders, your attention or thoughts drift aimlessly away from the topic at hand, often due to lack of focus or fatigue.
Mental straying. Or he enjoys letting his thoughts wander while he walks. Here, physical movement and mental drifting happen together.
A nice combination. It's also used for attention or gaze. Don't let your attention wander during the lecture, meaning don't let your focus drift away.
Or my eyes began to wander around the room during the long speech, describing a gaze that isn't fixed but is moving aimlessly across the space.
You can wander through art galleries or ancient ruins, suggesting a leisurely exploration without a set path, often for inspiration or contemplation.
Or even use wander over to the cafe, which does have a destination, but it implies a relaxed, unhurried walk to get there. It's less purely aimless, but still casual.
Good point. And finally, thoughts can wander back to specific things, like childhood memories, showing the mind drifting back to past recollections.
Okay, so the key takeaway for wander is aimless movement or drifting. It's the word for relaxed, undirected travel, physically or mentally, often done for pleasure, exploration, or simply because there isn't a specific goal.
Precisely.
Wow, okay. We've really taken a deep dive today into these 9 words. Stunning, thriving, trek, undergo, unique, unspoiled, unwind, vibrant, and wander.
Each word, when you choose it deliberately, adds incredible precision and richness to your descriptions. They really are tools for painting clearer, more impactful pictures with your language.
Understanding the core meaning is important, definitely, but exploring those implied meanings and seeing how they function in different examples really shows you the power these words hold.
It allows you to move beyond generic terms like nice or hard to ones that truly capture the specific essence of what you're trying to communicate.
Having these words in your vocabulary allows you to articulate the specific feeling of breathtaking beauty,
The dynamic energy of growth,
the effort of a difficult journey,
the process of significant change,
the distinctness of something one of a kind,
the purity of untouched nature,
the release of tension,
the liveliness of a place or person.
and the simple act of aimless exploration.
Pay attention to these words in the world around you. Hear how they're used, maybe in things you read or conversations you overhear.
And start incorporating them into your own speaking and writing. See how they change the impact of your message.
Practice wielding these linguistic tools. They're powerful.
And as we wrap up, here's a final thought for you to consider, maybe building on what we've discussed. Think about how these words, which describe states of being like stunning, thriving, unique, unspoiled, vibrant,
Right, the state words.
and those describing processes of change or movement trek, undergo, unwind, wander, think about how they often intersect in life.
That's a really interesting point, how they connect.
Well, could you embark on a trek to an unspoiled location, perhaps specifically to unwind and maybe feel more vibrant afterwards?
Ah, I see. Yes, absolutely. Or maybe a company has to undergo significant changes to create a more vibrant, maybe even thriving culture.
Exactly. These words aren't just isolated definitions in a dictionary. They describe the interwoven experiences we navigate every day. The effort, the trek, the undergo can lead to states of beauty or well-being, stunning, unspoiled, vibrant, unwind.
And sometimes simply allowing yourself to wander without a plan can lead you to finding something totally unique.
Consider how these concepts are linked in your own life and observations. It adds another layer to understanding them.
They provide the vocabulary to map our experiences in a way.
We really hope this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for these words and how they empower your communication.
Keep exploring the fascinating world of language. There's always more to discover.
Until our next deep dive.